everybody, this is Tanner with Everyday Thread. This is another episode of the Threadcast. This is actually episode number 42. We've got into the 40s, kind of a cool thing. But I'm joined with the OG3 and a plus one, a first time guest here. But I'm your producer. We got guest Brett, who just waved over there. How you doing, Brett?
Hey, doing good today. Hope you guys are all doing well out there, and everyone in podcast land.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Got the OGs, Rodrigo.
That is I am Rodrigo. All right. Don't forget.
Rodrigo, hear me roar. And
there you
Ruben is nice cut. Nice trim there.
Talk about me or Rodrigo?
Ruben.
Oh, me? Yeah, I got the. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to look like Rude from Final Fantasy VII. So.
I don't.
Wear the glasses.
He's the man.
I can't put my glasses on. I just bought some fresh Oakleys for Father's Day, so I couldn't.
And then you need a second pair in your jacket for when the first ones get smashed.
Yeah, when they break, I need a backup pair. And I'll wear them at night too when I fly a helicopter.
There you go.
All right, but yeah, thanks you guys for being on. We got a huge list of things to talk about. Probably not going to talk about most of this stuff, but we got a lot of gaming news that has been released recently. Probably most notably the PS5, the Sony PlayStation 5 show, which was got to be a couple weeks back maybe now at this point, but they finally unveiled the system, I think at the tail end of their show. Mm-hmm. And did everybody here see that?
I saw a picture of it, and I heard that a lot of people weren't too happy about it.
The look of the thing?
The actual look? A lot of people... Go ahead.
Doesn't it look like a 15-pound bat ray or something like that?
I heard people saying it looked like an internet router.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can see that, but...
I just heard it looked huge. It was just huge.
It just looks like a mix of weird things. I mean, the size, I didn't really notice that it looked huge, but it definitely has like fins and some stuff going on there.
You're right.
So it looks like a bat ray.
It's very interesting, to say the least. Yeah.
It is. I think the biggest out of the systems that have come out so far. So
I don't know. The PS3 was pretty big. Do you think it's going to be bigger than that?
Yeah.
No, they
OG.
It is going to be. It's like they're doing it because PS4 has the ability to sound like a freaking aircraft carrier. Or an airplane taking off.
It's got some pretty good tech in it. I mean, if you look at the specs and everything, you know, it's got a solid state drive. It's got good AMD technology in it and all that stuff.
Pretty on par with the Series X, though. I mean, I'm not a technical whiz, but it seemed like they both have the solid state going on. That's the thing now, you know, and all that. But
I mean, the PC gamers have been enjoying that for like 10, 15 years. It's about time that the console players caught up and got solid state drives on their systems.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I couldn't help but think of when I was hearing those announcements. I'm like, you're making it sound like it's this revolutionary thing, but like you got to realize PC people have been rocking solid states for a while, right? You know,
right?
But yeah,
I'm a little bit of a PC fanboy, but I mean the consoles are looking pretty good this generation. I have to say. I mean,
they definitely showed off some graphically impressive games for sure. So the system we all agree looks kind of funky.
Yeah,
it's growing on me.
Yeah, I
don't think it looks bad per se.
Yeah, me either. I don't mind the fins and all that jazz that was going on, but I thought it was weird that the little hump was in it with the CD drive, because then they also showed that version that was like a digital.
Right, that's a big thing.
Cool, because I mean they both look actually all right, but on its side, I'm like, you're gonna have this hump, which is kind of just weird on the disc drive version, as opposed to just being like this, you know, a flat, you know, surface. So that looked a little bit weird to me. I would have rather them blown out the other side. So instead of it looking like a hump, it was just maybe thicker all the way through, instead of having this protruding like thing there, you know, maybe just a thicker version and a skinnier version for the digital or something. But they didn't do that, so it looked a little weird. The controller, we've seen that plenty by now, and that actually looks all right. I don't mind that design.
And is it going to be? I didn't hear. Is it going to be all digital, or can you use CDs as well?
So there's two different systems.
Yeah, there's two versions of the system.
Yeah, I imagine, you know, the CD drive base would be $50-$60 more or something like that maybe. Then you have, you know, your digital only download version, which is slimmer, but I mean you're locked into just like you're only digital. Don't be prepared to trade games or do any of that stuff, buy pre-owned or anything, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. All the GameStops in my town are closed down, so
yeah,
exactly.
they're not doing too hot these days.
They're
no,
not.
there's not.
Yeah.
You're not going to find one GameStop in Palm Springs. They're all gone. They're all gone.
Yeah, they're not doing great. But
I've pretty much gone completely digital by now on my PS4.
Have you? I'm still kind of old school. I like having a physical like collection, like, you know, like in a case to like look at.
Yeah.
So I do buy CDs whenever possible, and you also have to think about, I mean, it's going to be a Blu-ray player, so if you have movies, and it's going to be backwards compatible with PS4, but they also said it's only going to be backwards compatible at launch with some games because they have to do like, there's like a process they got to go through to make sure everything runs smoothly.
To a certain degree, right? Yeah.
I mean, they're already at like over 100, I think, right now. They get the boost mode.
All the hits.
Yeah, the boost mode, right?
Something like
that.
But
you'll have to keep that in mind if you want to buy like a digital version. You're not going to have access to like PS4 CDs, you know.
Yeah.
I agree with you though, Brett. I mean, I do collect games myself still. I got a pretty big bookshelf full, so if I can, if they're not too pricey, you know, I'll get pre-owned games that are physical, you know,
right?
For sure,
yeah,
when they get cheap. And then if I'm really, really looking forward to a game, maybe I'll buy it brand new physical just to have it. But other than that, I mean, I do get a lot of games digital. PS Plus every month, you know, there's that like on sale that happen, you know.
Yeah,
it would be a bummer if I wanted to play something with the disc and I didn't have the option. I kind of look at it that way, you know, like
exactly.
That's a bummer if it comes to
so I mean, that could be worth shelling out the 50 or 60 bucks extra that it takes.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
No,
it could be $100. It could be $100 price difference. You're not sure, you know.
Exactly.
Because you said it is also a Blu-ray player. I don't actually own a single Blu-ray to this day, but it's all it's streaming basically. But
I mean, these days most people would agree with that.
The point is you have options, and the lights are back on the controller. The DualSense controller has the impressive what do they call it? It's got a better vibration apparently in it, and the triggers have a vibration.
DualSense
haptic feedback and all that.
Right? Yeah.
You know what actually bothered me? I didn't like that they took the color away from the buttons. You don't have the pink square button, the blue X, the green triangle, and the red circle.
What the hell is this? All white or black?
I think it's
I think it's like a white, and then the buttons are all gray, like where the button where the buttons are.
They went full on.
It's a little different.
They went full on future.
That was
tech.
like an iconic part, though. I was like, oh, they're taking that away.
Well, when I think of some parts that I liked about the PS4 controller that I was hoping they didn't scrap, and they didn't, so I'm actually glad that they're in there. I know Rodrigo isn't too much of a fan of the speaker built in, but I'm glad that is back in, and I'm glad that there's the lights, and they didn't badge that because they got a lot of crap. They got so much crap for the lights.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I think because of the battery life, maybe stuff like that. But I liked the whole slit that they ended up coming out with on the controller later in the life, and then now it's got the lights on the side. So it is actually cool in some games. Resident Evil. I've always wanted to put together like a top 10 list of of games or something that use these features that are kind of forgotten about. But it's cool. I mean, it's another example of I'd rather have it. If the developer doesn't want to use it, don't put it in. But I like that there's the option where if someone wants, they can have like that stuff used, So I'm glad that the controller still has that. It has a built-in speaker. It has I think a mic built in, so you can just talk with your friends. I think you don't have to have.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big deal.
Cool. That's pretty nice, I don't remember what else is really.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
What else is unique? I mean, I think it has the motion sensor still in it. Is back. I think the touchpad is back again.
Touchpad's actually not bad. I mean,
yeah, it was another example.
I thought it was a cool feature.
Developers didn't really use it too much for their games. It ended up becoming more of like a glorified like map button or a pause button.
Yeah.
There was only a couple games I could think of where like you push the touchpad and then you would slide up, down, or a direction to turn on abilities or something.
Oh, did you guys ever play that game Days Gone?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't play that.
Did you play it on the PlayStation?
Yeah, I played it on PlayStation.
It's PlayStation only, man.
Yeah.
Was it just me? Well, I know Brett's a hardcore PC guy, but was it just me, or did that fucking map on the touchpad pop up when you did not want it to?
Actually, you're right. That happened a lot at the worst time too.
That happened at least 300 fucking times, and it annoyed the shit out of me.
See, I've heard about people hitting that button by mistake, and I can't say I've ever had that happen. I mean, I know it's a large button.
I've never had that happen until I played Days Gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Like God of War, you could do that. The new Tomb Raiders, the definitive editions that came out, you can press the touchpad for a map. I've never accidentally gone to a map screen until I played that fucking game, Days Gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't turn it off either. I was going to the option. No, you can't turn it off.
Yeah, that wasn't just you. That happened also.
God, that annoyed me.
How was that game though? By the way, I don't know if we ever talked about that.
It's okay. It's like a
nowadays. You can get it on sale for like $15-$20 sometimes.
Well, yeah, especially if the network has a sale. It's not. I'd give it if I had to give it a letter grade, a C. Personally,
$20? I mean, pick it up.
I'd say $20. You're getting your money's worth. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I heard mixed things. Maybe more on the negative side, but
it's pretty similar to The Last of Us, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Last of Us copied Days Gone.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you.
Yeah, I have it backwards. So.
No, Last of Us 1 is way better than Days Gone. If I can only play one game, I'm going with Last of Us.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the PS5 itself, the hardware. Did anybody? So there's some games that they had shown off. I can just kind of run through a little bit of these. They showed kind of a little trailer for a new Ratchet and Clank game.
Yeah.
I was never really a huge fan, but
I wasn't either.
Cool.
I wasn't a huge fan of the game series, but I thought like overall, like it looked like something I might play. I mean, it had some cool like it had like visually like the game looked cool. Like there was like a lot of like teleporting and stuff you could do, and like
right,
you were going through like worlds and stuff like that.
That's really where I think, as far as any of the games that show showed off like what the next system's gonna do. Ratchet and Clank showing them going to different worlds and like instant loading.
Showing off that
like it was so quick.
Yeah,
so
I think that's gonna make a big difference in like the next gen stuff.
Yeah, as far as showing off like the tech of the new system, that was pretty impressive to see him bounce from world to world and continue playing without any stopping. That's insane.
I think that was definitely the design of that trailer, was to show that off. It looked cool. I don't own any, and they're always like third-person shooter games. So this is probably going to be the same, where you always have like tons of crazy weapons to choose from, and it's kind of silly and all that. But I don't remember if they had a name for it exactly or not. But yeah, new Ratchet and Clank is going to be coming at some point, which is cool because I'm forgetting. I think, is that Insomniac? Is that is that Spider-Man devs? Or,
I think so.
Okay. Well, yeah, that looks all right. Definitely looks pretty cool. Definitely showed off the hardware. And then they did also show off Spider-Man, not a Spider-Man 2, mind you, but a Spider-Man Miles Morales, the titling. So they later afterwards went to clarify that there is going to be a Spider-Man 2. This is more of just, I think of it as like that Last of Us game where they had the Uncharted game, Lost Legacy, where they had like, it's not a numbered, but it's more of a spin-off kind of. I think that's what this is going to be. But it looked cool. If you guys aren't aware that Miles Morales has different abilities than Peter Parker. He's different by different spiders, so he has the power of invisibility, and some other stuff I forget exactly. Rodrigo might know, but so that's going to come into play. You can expect some new abilities. The last game was great. I mean, I love that first Spider-Man game on PS4. So I'm definitely going to be playing this when it comes out. I don't know. Anybody else a fan of the last one?
Yeah.
I have it, but I didn't play too much. I mostly bought it for my daughter. So, but she, from what it looked like, she really enjoyed it. So,
I mean, you could just be like web swinging, like, and having fun just doing that. Like, you didn't have to play the game too much.
Isn't it
kind of fun?
Isn't it sandbox too?
It's a bit open world.
Yeah.
But that was a good one, and so I'm definitely looking forward to what they do with this. And they didn't have an announced date or anything like that. Just kind of, I think most of the stuff was just showing off things that are in development.
Yeah, I don't think anything we really saw is coming out this year.
Right.
From what it looked like.
I think going back to the system itself, though, did they announce? They didn't have an announced date. I don't think at the show.
Not at the show, but I did read that it's going to be holiday season 2020, right?
That's the only thing we know.
Yeah. So
I think November's rumored, but that's just rumors.
Right. We'll see if it happens. Another first-party title they showed off was Horizon Forbidden West. So we got not only a pretty lengthy reveal trailer, but actual name on it and all that stuff. So it looked cool. It looked more of the same. I don't know if I really could tell if anything was new just from the trailer.
So this is a sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Zero Dawn, yeah.
I didn't get to play that one.
That was cool.
I did.
I didn't beat it. I think.
What'd you think?
Ruben, you beat it?
Yeah. Well, what happened is when I first played it, I really liked it. We actually talked about that on one of our early podcast episodes. I remember saying if you like Tomb Raider and if you like crafting, you're going to like Horizon. So a couple months ago, like Tomb Raider went on sale for the PSN for like $5. So I bought it and I played it. And when I beat Tomb Raider, I went back and I installed Horizon again. And when I played it, I was like, nah, it's not nowhere. I was like, but I remember first playing it, liking it. So my second playthrough, I didn't enjoy it whatsoever.
Really? Okay. I remember having some fun with that game. I mean, I didn't beat it. The game suffered from, I think, for me, a lot of games do this thing where the worlds are too big, and I just lose interest by the time I get into that tail end.
When there's like too much to do sometimes.
Too much. It's just like, I would just it's just too much ground to. It's more of the ground, the world itself being too large. To where I'm just like, there's just too much ground to cover. I'd rather have a more compact world with maybe that many activities, or something like that. But just when the world's 2 times bigger for the sake of being 2 times bigger, I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Did they say that in the trailer?
They, of course, yeah. Most of these games, it's like the world is bigger now. It's like,
oh, fuck that.
You don't really need a bigger.
I remember the world being huge too, and I hated that.
Yeah.
Had to go hack into a metallic horse, whatever the hell that was called, and ride it.
Right, and when you don't find those guys to do that, then you're really just on foot trying to get around. But I mean, the game was still fun. It was very fast paced. It was cool. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe we'll need to see more as far as what maybe they're trying to evolve with that game in later trailer. But right now, it did look like more of the same, pretty much. So, yeah. If that was your jam, this probably.
I might get it. I'll probably get it, knowing me. So.
Which brings us to another first-party title, and I don't remember if this was really at the show, but since we're talking about Sony here, Last of Us Part 2 is now out, although none of us have actually played it.
I own a copy, but I haven't installed it. I bought it literally 3-4 hours ago.
We've all seen it and are planning on playing it. I think at some point. Ruben probably more sooner than the rest of us, but
probably in a couple of days. I'm not going to play it today, that's for sure.
Have you guys been seeing the scores and everything coming out for this? It's pretty much getting some perfects here and there.
I have
perfect 10s and 5s.
Yeah, I think as of yesterday, it's the fastest selling PlayStation game.
It beat out Final Fantasy VII and a few other titles, right?
Yeah, it surpassed all of them by like 4 million already.
That really surprised me, I have to say.
Not really. I mean, that first one was so critically acclaimed, and this sequel has been so hyped
right
until now.
Yeah,
that's the problem, though. Maybe it got overhyped. I mean, there's been some controversy where like they said that they were like getting review bombed with the rating on that game. There was a lot of people giving it perfect scores. There was a lot of people giving it 0 out of 10s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think either of those scores is like the right one. I think it falls somewhere in the middle. It's like it's a great game, but I heard like story wise it doesn't measure up to the first game.
Well, that's probably why they're giving it 0 out of 10 because they don't like the story.
I don't understand you could give any game a 0 though. That just seems like someone.
I know.
Well, it's like a joke.
I've never given a game
a
0
watch the world burn.
Yeah, I don't think I've hated a game that much.
Yeah, I don't know if I could take that seriously. I mean, that's a joke to me, but or someone just trying to put a review out there, like you said, to bomb overalls or something, just for the sake of being an asshole. But
yeah, I think they removed all those too, all the review bombing that they did on Metacritic.
Yeah, it looks okay though. I mean, I definitely want to play it at some point. Again, I didn't beat the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So
go buy it. It's on sale, man. It's $5.
Oh, dude, no, I have like 2-3 copies of that game.
I've never. It's a question of you getting the time to play it and all that.
Just actually getting through it, and I've started. It's like I have a almost halfway maybe more PS3 copy. Then I have a remastered like beginning game on PS4. So I can't beat it. I just haven't seen it through. But
no, I have the remaster copy. The only reason I have that is because you know how PlayStation every month they give away 2 free games.
Yep, that's where I got it too. Yeah,
that's right. I got a free one. I just played it.
So I wasn't super into the story though. I mean, do you beat it though, Rodrigo? Right?
Oh yeah. That was definitely like my game of the year that year where that game came out. I was definitely on that.
I didn't beat it. I don't know what it was. It just part of the clicker stuff with me. I got hung up on a bit because that can be surprisingly challenging. And then the story overall, I liked the locations and stuff, but I wasn't super grabbed by the story. Maybe it gets really a lot better near the end because I think I might have been halfway. I don't imagine how. I don't think I was that close to the end. So, but
it just didn't hook you, huh?
It just didn't hook me. Yeah, I've heard though that between 1 and 2, the overall story is what has really been is giving like that edge for people. Like they really love how I guess these two wrap up a story. I don't really know what's there, to say it's so great, but apparently it's got to be pretty good. The gameplay seems more of the same, right? I mean, does anybody know has any of the gameplay elements changed or evolved?
It definitely seems like they've kind of upgraded it, but they definitely is built off of that first very stealth-like, and
right.
There's just more options that you have.
Yeah, there was like some tactics you could do, like hiding in tall grass to avoid enemies and whatnot. But there was more of like throwing bricks and bottles as distractions and stuff like that. Right. I think a complaint that I had was that a lot of the enemies were pretty basic. Like it was a lot of the same enemies you were encountering all the time.
Right.
So
I mean,
there wasn't much variety.
Than the humans, right?
Right.
And the humans didn't really have a lot of variations between themselves.
There you
go. Yeah, there was a little bit of variation, but overall, like it was a lot of the same. So I mean, there were some people complaining about that, but overall, I just think the story was what was like getting some people annoyed at the second game. But I honestly think that, I mean, if you enjoyed the first game, you should definitely give the second one a try, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
I was very much of the mind of the first game. The way it ended was good enough for me. I really didn't need it to go anywhere else.
Yeah, you thought they could. I mean, if there wasn't a sequel, you would have been fine with that, huh?
I was super fine with it. And then they announced the sequel, and I was like, all right, sure. But I've seen a lot of the game already, and everything I've seen has not changed my mind on that. So I don't think I'm gonna even touch the second game as far as buying it.
Yeah,
that's a valid opinion.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, it looks cool, but I'm not going to get it brand new. I probably will just get it when it gets lower in price because I wasn't a huge fan of the first, so I'm not really trying to go out there and spring out, get this second one.
I'll let you borrow when I beat it.
There we go. Yeah.
And you can stream it for us too.
With my disc.
That's why you buy physical copies.
There we go.
See? Yeah. You beat it.
All right. Hey,
pass it on to a buddy.
I guess after Ruben plays and beats the same, we'll maybe give our impressions or his impressions. We'll pick his brain a bit, see how he liked it.
Yeah, I want to see what you think of it.
Yeah. We'll circle around with that. Coming up, but they also showed off a few other things. Some of them were brief. We don't have to really elaborate on all these, but I think these were part of the PS5 show. They showed a little trailer for Hitman 5. I don't know if anybody is a fan of Hitman, really.
Yeah.
It looked all right. It was like a CG trailer, no gameplay or nothing, just kind of setting a story, kind of, for the game. But I was a big fan of like Blood Money, and actually Absolution was pretty cool. I didn't play the reboot, on PC or whatever years back. It was just called Hitman, So I guess it'll be cool. I'm always kind of like rooting for Hitman whenever those games come out because I feel it's still an underdog, and I'm glad they're still making them. But they're not always the greatest games. Definitely the early ones were really rough. I think Blood Money was when it first started to come around and be a little bit more polished, and also at the same time hit more of a mainstream with Blood Money. And then from there, I think more mainstream and people, kind of had seen it was Absolution, was like back on 360 and stuff, which is more action-y, ditched a lot of those early like super frustrating strict elements of like 1 and 2, and even a bit of money. But hey, man, we'll see. We'll have to see more of that one. Anybody?
From what I saw, I liked what I saw in the in the teaser.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a try.
We'll see what's up with it. We'll have to hear more. It's probably a long ways out. They also announced another Oddworld game, which was kind of a like a synonymous thing, when you used to think of PlayStation back in the day.
Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah,
way back in the PS1 day.
It is. They had a few of them.
Yeah, I remember liking it. I played one. I remember liking it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it reminded me of Earthworm Jim.
Dude, I had the exact same feeling. Earthworm Jim. Oh man.
Yeah. And then they did, this isn't really though, like, so since the PlayStation days, they had like Munch's Odyssey, which was a launch game on Xbox, which was crazy and totally different. And then they had like Oddworld Stranger's Wrath, which was a totally different game from those. And then I think the company or the guy brought it back as like a little indie project that was like a downloadable game on like PS4 or something you can get. So it's not really like it's Oddworld's coming back since PlayStation. It's kind of been around in some way since then, but this does look like it's going back to the traditional OG PlayStation style. But at the same time, it's like I'm glad they're making the games, and I'm like again rooting for this guy to like finish his story or whatever, but I'm like, it kind of looks dated now. Also, at the same time, when I saw that trailer, as far as the 2D puzzle mechanics, it doesn't look like much of that has changed, and I feel like it's showing its wear a bit more. Again, I'm like happy that guy's doing his thing and that company's making those games, but I feel like it's almost a time and place thing that's maybe past. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely like the style is something that does seem a little bit dated. There's definitely the fans out there that would love that, but I don't think it's going to make a huge splash in the gaming community.
Exactly. I feel like it's going to have that same impact as the other ones did, where it's that fan base that is rooting for it and is going to play it, but that's pretty much it. That's where it's
not going to sell more than The Last of Us 2, you think?
I mean, slim chance, maybe.
Never say never, okay? It could be the biggest thing to hit the gaming community in forever.
Never know.
Who knows?
Going back to the initial opening of the show is, hey, guess what? If you're not sick of GTA 5 by now, you're going to get it again. So they announced that they're doing GTA 5 on PS5, probably be on Series X, and it's going to have what seems like maybe new story content. But, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, nothing really worth talking about, but if you want GTA 5 again for the 5th time, go for it. It's coming.
My reaction was, they're really opening the show with GTA 5. Like, that was such a letdown to me. It was because I was like, oh, is this going to be a new GTA or something like that? Like, that would be a hell of a way to start the PS5 series, but they're still milking the cash cow, the GTA 5 cash cow. It's turning into the Skyrim. It's going to be released on every system ever. You can play it on your fridge, your smart fridge.
Yeah. Turns out that's the best version. Yeah. Also,
go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Well, I was going to move on to something else unless we want to talk about GTA 5.
No, I was going to say more me being let down that was the opener.
Yeah, I feel like they had to get it out of the way there because at the end or something, it would have been more odd to have it close the show or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's no good way to do it.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, with the show as a whole, I kind of liked it without having announcers where they would just do trailer and then like trailer and trailer. Like I felt like the flow of the whole show as a whole was like, I liked it without like announcers and like, broadcasters. Like I thought it was a good change of pace,
Right. Yeah, it was
very concise and
it was less like, of a conference.
Yeah.
Then more
I don't know.
Where's a direct, like kind of like a Nintendo style or something they would do. Yeah, it was all right overall. They showed some good stuff. They one thing I did like that they showed, and I think this was part of that show, was this little indie game called Little Devil Inside. It looked very interesting to me. And besides that, just on topic is that I guess that game got a bunch of grief after that, like a few days later, because of the character design of someone in there. And
could you remind me which trailer that was? Because I don't remember what Little Devil Inside was.
So the game itself, though, is looking like I don't know, the art style. I don't really know how to describe it, but it was showing this guy who's got a sword and he's kind of fighting and he's on this adventure. But then it would also had shots chopped up between like him being in like a Paris or like a France looking area, and it's this old guy, and it looks like it's got humor, but then the action looked very interesting to me too. And then it also showed him like fighting bosses and like I think being in a boat and kind of also having exploration. It looked like a very interesting mix of a lot of stuff, which is why I'm really intrigued. And it was just gameplay footage of this stuff, and it was very like I don't know, just kind of made me wonder about what the rest of it, the actual game is going to look like. I was intrigued for sure. I'm not sure if Rodrigo, had you seen this?
Yeah, that game was probably the one that I'm most excited about. When I saw the trailer, that was probably the best one I've seen. A little clip of where it's showing the guy, he's climbing down the rope and he decides to drop a bomb, and then it cuts to the old man in the toilet. A little plop sound.
Oh, okay. I totally remember the trailer now after you said that.
That part was the highlight.
Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty funny, and that was a little clever how they did that.
But they got. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Finish your.
I was gonna say that you mentioned the controversy they had afterward, because apparently they had an enemy type of the game that was kind of like a tribal warrior, I guess. And and
you can imagine with what's going on right now, people wanted to pick on it, but I don't feel like I don't know. We don't have to get into it really, because. But I thought that was a shame. If I'm going to say anything, I thought that was a shame that this company's getting docked for something like that and getting flack, because they apologized and everything for it and said they were changing it and all this stuff completely. But I'm like, as a game, it's like, dude, it's a fictional, like there really are in the real world like tribes, that like would wear a mask or something.
I don't think it was necessarily like representing that in a bad light, was it? I don't remember the trailer exactly, but it's not like
I don't think at all. But I think at the time and place we're at right now, that people just wanted to like, if one person just has a comment, Twitter or whatever, and has a comment of like, "This is inappropriate," you have to be like, "Well, shit!" Like, okay, we have to,
That's the age we live in with the social media. Everyone's got a voice.
Yeah. So, but besides that, though, like as Rodrigo was saying, like the rope and everything, the game just to me looked like it comprised a lot of like very interesting, like if this is all gameplay stuff, like we're going to be spelunking with ropes, we're going to be doing this stuff with action, we're going to be doing like an adventure in town. Like it seems like there's a lot. It seems very ambitious for what I saw from the gameplay, the trailer. And so I'm really hoping that it turns out to be pretty fun, and all that stuff is going to be stuff you can actually do. I'm hoping that most of that wasn't part of a cinematic, is kind of my takeaway. It was like, this seems really fun if you're doing all this stuff in the game. It could be really cool. Yeah, Little Devil Inside, definitely one to keep your eyes on in the future. Another trailer that I think was part of that show, which is a new game by OG Resident Evil creator and Tango Studios Evil Within fame, is Haunting Ground, Ghostwire.
Yeah, Shinji Mikami, right?
Shinji Mikami, that's that gentleman. But that trailer looked very weird. I wasn't sure what to expect of that game.
It was,
but when they showed that, I was like, "What is going on here?" It was kind of crazy. Did you guys see that? What did you think of? Does it look fun?
I did. It's cool. I'm like big into horror games, and survival horror. So I like seeing new installments and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna have any judgments yet. It like being centered around Tokyo seemed kind of interesting and unique. I've never really seen that before.
I did think that was the interesting part to me. Yeah, it's definitely a departure from what they had done in the past, which is kind of why it was so a little shocking. I was like, "Oh, this is really different. It looked cool." For sure. I really didn't understand what was going on, but that's kind of the intrigue of that game to me. It almost seems like a Killer 7 pseudo-s, like really weird style game, but at the same time, it's like that's what's interesting about it. It's because you're like, I really don't know what's going on, but it seems interesting to maybe figure out what's up. But yeah, that was another PS5 show game that looked all right. I think we'll take a break here in a minute, but I think the other game worth mentioning was Sackboy. Didn't really show much, but if you're a fan of Little Big Planet, it seems like that dude's going to get his own little game, but not part of the Big Planet label. So imagine some pretty solid platforming and stuff like that in the game. Anybody?
4-player co-op.
Yeah, Sackboy. Excited.
I had Little Big Planet for a PS3, and it was enjoyable for what it was,
Yeah, it was one of those casual games that you play with like friends at a party, or maybe for people who aren't into games, like like a game with like, you know, either like nieces, nephews, spouse, or someone who's just like casually maybe wants to play something, and you can be like, oh, let's play Little Big Planet. You know, it was definitely, I feel like, that crowd. But those were solid games though. So we'll see.
You know what other game caught my eye was the remake for Demon Souls that they're doing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Souls games. You know, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Demon Souls.
Yeah.
So and Demon Souls was a classic, so it's cool to see. It's gonna be cool to see like a remake done with like all pretty and whatnot. Yeah, so I'm excited to try that out. And the trailer looked really cool too.
Yeah,
those games are pretty tough, but
yeah,
I never got far in any of them really.
I was a glutton for the challenge. I'm like one of those guys that's just like playing stupidly hard games, and like I'll spend like all day on like one boss or something like that, you know.
I guess that's how those games go though.
It is. I like the challenge.
Yeah. Well, I think unless anybody else has any thoughts on what we talked about there, we'll probably take a break, but then we'll come back and hit on some of the bigger games. We got some Pokemon stuff, Cyberpunk, and Avengers coming up.
All right.
You guys want ya?
All right. Yeah, we're going to take a break. Be right back. So, guys, stay tuned. All right, everybody, we're back from our little break here. We got some more games to talk about. This is now going to be just some games in general outside of the PS5 show. Although, actually, I forgot, the EA show had happened. So it was actually overall kind of weak and lackluster.
To say the least.
Yeah, and a number of other things. But there was a couple of highlights out of it. I think we could agree. Everyone's favorite game, sports game, Skate. That was a joke. It's probably not everyone's favorite sports game. But anyway, Skate is coming back, folks. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. Not really, but it was a cool game. But for some people, that is what they're thinking. And it's probably going to be a Skate 4. They didn't say that, but I don't remember if they showed anything off as far as gameplay, though, actually. Did they?
No, they were just talking like, hey, me and a guy, we're working on it. It's going to happen. Yeah. A new Skate game. That's really...
It's because they got competition with the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Which I'm looking forward to playing.
Skateboarding's cool.
Those are the games that got me into skating back in the day.
Yeah.
We played that game a lot, dude.
Dude, we used to skate together after that, yeah. That's what kind of got us into it.
Yeah, I remember those games too. And yeah, so I did actually enjoy the Skate games. The third one.
Yeah, it's a pretty beloved franchise, I hear.
Yeah, it was solid. I actually, for me, I like those games more.
How dare you say that?
Tony Hawk, just because I think maybe just at the end, because at the end, at that point, Tony Hawk was getting like saturated, you know?
Right.
And I did like the idea of like having that realistic touch to where you felt good about doing just a simple ollie to a kickflip and landing it. And you're like, that actually looked good and it felt real and it, you know? And then the contrast is like, well, in Tony Hawk, you're like triple kickflip to 360 grind.
Yeah,
so
the
like,
reality is a little.
Chad Muska pulls out a boombox and grinding.
Hey, he really did that in real life. That's realistic, okay? Chad Muska.
Yeah.
But that was the point, I think, of the Skate series when it first started too, was to be this different take, you know. Whereas I guess if you're going to say Tony Hawk is more arcadey and it has that feel, this was the answer to that, as far as like, this is for people who are looking for more of a realistic take on skateboarding.
Yeah,
and
which I think is cool. I think it's good that there's a game out there like that.
What's that, Rodrigo?
Just go skateboarding. I got Spider-Man in my game over here.
but we're being safe though in behind the controller. But it was
in your living room.
It was pretty basic, I think, the first one, and then I think the second one introduced being able to place objects in the world, which is kind of a cool thing. Or maybe that was part 3. I don't remember. Maybe it was 3 that introduced like putting objects down in the game. But they had a story. Each of them had a story, I think, which was pretty weak overall. But I used to love just turning on, like, even like, it's rare, but like maybe 6 months ago, I'd still turn on Skate 3 and just do a free roam and find a skate park, you know, and just like, it's so fun in that game to still just go around in the sense of like you carving. in and out of stuff and manuals, and it really has like the audio and the sense of that realism, I think is cool, especially with that low down camera and like the tricks and everything. And it's really cool in that game still when you pull off stuff. I feel like it captures that feeling really well. So I'm down for Skate 4. Why not? Bring it on. Like, probably be cool. I'm not probably going to buy it at $60 when it comes out. I don't know if those games have ever really had enough content to justify $60 worth. But it's definitely a fun game just to kick around. Like, it's a very casual game to turn on for 15 minutes maybe for me. And
exactly.
Play, literally kick around like, you're bored. And
it's really important to have those games, because sometimes you're like, there's games that you play and you get like sucked into it and then like you lose like an hour or two. Yeah. But you need a game that you can just like pop in, turn on, get a little bit done, and still have fun in like 15-20 minutes,
Yeah, and that's
doesn't dedicate, or it doesn't require all your concentration and all that,
Yeah, or too much of an investment. There's no story really to get invested there. You're really just having that casual experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, Skate 4. And it was just an announcement. Like, that's pretty sad that was one of the highlights of their show. They did actually show off though a good amount of Star Wars Squadrons, which is a new only first person game. I found out it's first person cockpit view dogfighting in the Star Wars universe game. Think of old school like X-Wing. I can't remember
X-Wing TIE Fighter.
X-Wing TIE Fighter, that style. Yeah. I think this is kind of for those fans. I was thinking of originally more of like Rogue Squadron on 64 or like Rogue Squadron 2 on GameCube, that. But come to find out, you're locked into a first-person view, which is interesting to me. But it looked pretty cool. I don't know. Did you guys see this footage? What did you guys think?
Yeah, it was. Had the game not leaked a week before the event, maybe it would have been like this amazing reveal.
Oh, people knew about it before the reveal?
It got leaked, and then they were kind of forced to show that trailer. And then when the conference came out, they just showed that trailer again.
So a lot of people had probably already seen it in the audience.
Yeah, it's gonna have VR support, which I think is pretty dope.
That's cool.
And then, but I think they said it's gonna be a 5v5, so not big space battles like if you're playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 right now, you can have like 25 versus 25 or something like that. But I think this is gonna be like a 5v5, just quick team deathmatch kind of thing. Maybe kind of Overwatch style with like each ship having its own set of skills and like kind of powers, I guess you can say.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Rogue Squadron was like that too. I remember that, even though the game's old.
I had fun with those games though. So
I had fun with it too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably another example of a game where I'm not going to buy it full price when it comes out, but it looks fun, and I'm definitely, another one of those games where it's just nice to mix up maybe something from like what you would usually play. It's good to throw in something like that every now and then. It's like, yeah, maybe I just want to fly around in the Star Wars world for 20 minutes.
Is there a big emphasis on story for this Squadron game?
I don't know.
They said they will have a story mode, but it's going to be very small, kind of like have you played Battlefront 2? That story is real. It's real, just kind of on the side there. The main focus is going to be the multiplayer.
It should be interesting though. I mean, they showed a good amount for that trailer. It looks like that's pretty much the game though. It's just literally you're dogfighting. So if that's really not what you're into, probably not gonna be a fan. But I mean, that was the highlights of that EA show, I think, right? Unless was there anything else worth mentioning there?
Yeah, Battlefront 2 is free right now on PlayStation Plus.
Battlefront 2.
What? You can get your dog fights and ground fights all at once.
He's saying don't even bother with Squadrons. Just get your fix on Battlefront 2. And you can play it now instead of having to wait, right?
Right,
that's true.
Exactly.
And it's free.
Right. It's free. How do you beat it free?
Forget that we mentioned anything about Star Wars Squadrons. I'll put that in the video. That was pretty much the show for them. So it was overall pretty weak, but we also got some stuff more recently than all this. I don't know if anybody's a Pokemon fan. I'm not really. But
I lost count after 150, man.
Yeah. Although they did announce a Pokemon Snap, and I was like, "F yeah!"
I think a lot of people
Snap
have.
Was
Yeah,
cool.
Pokemon Snap 2, right?
It's called
Yeah.
New Pokemon Snap.
That's right, new Pokemon.
You know the game where you take pictures of Pokemon, right?
You better believe it. It is, and it's great.
Why is that exciting?
You know what?
Hey, Pokemon Snap was a great game, honestly.
It was solid for the. You know what? Hey, you know what, Ruben? We'll have to do a YouTube video on Pokemon Snap next time you come down.
Yeah, do you have it?
Oh, you better believe I have it. Beaten it plenty of times too. We can probably beat that game in like 45 minutes too.
Yeah,
Hey,
we can speed run it. We can speed run it, man.
Hey,
Get the world
stay
record.
tuned for another Everyday Thread Gaming Complete episode.
I mean, fuck the Resident Evil 3 world record. I'm going for Pokemon Snap now.
Honestly, like I don't know what it was about that game, but it was a good game. It was entertaining.
It was fun.
I mean, like on paper, it doesn't sound like. I mean, you take pictures of Pokemon, but like,
yeah.
I remember there was just like it was something cool about it.
Yeah,
maybe it was just because like back in the day we were huge Pokemon fanboys and we played like basically anything that came out. But
to me, it looks like the same style but better graphics. But I'm cool. I mean, I'm down for more Pokemon Snap. I mean,
so it's a remastered. Is it a new game or a remastered version?
It's a new game.
Okay.
You're gonna have all 800 and whatever how many Pokemon exist.
870 Pokemon, huh?
Yeah, for some people though, this is some big news for some people for sure. I mean, what was it, 10 years ago? I don't remember, but it's been definitely a long time. There's also definitely that cult following for this game where people have wanted another one. And so for them to announce that, it really was a surprise to me. I was like, oh shit, like cool actually. Yeah, like all right, like why not, you know?
It's gonna be a Switch title, right?
Gonna be on Switch.
Yeah. I bought a Switch earlier this year before like the whole pandemic thing started. Mm-hmm. And then I heard like as soon as like the pandemic hit, it was like really hard to get a hold of a Switch. So I think I bought one like at just the right time.
Yeah.
And then so maybe I'm late to the party, but I mean now I'm finally getting to experience like Breath of the Wild and like picked up Smash Brothers and Mario.
They're all good. Cool though when you get a system kind of late and then you have all these good games to pick from. Then you're like, oh, this is all new to me, so it's kind of an exciting time. That's how I was when I got my PS4. You know, I got it pre-owned and then I got a handful of games that I was like, well, never played any of these, so
time to dive right in, right?
A little chunk to check out. They also had announced, I think just a few days ago, Pokemon Unite, which I think overall people were really let down by when they were announcing another Pokemon thing, and then it was this game called Unite, which is going to be basically a MOBA. Think of Dota
really
style game, you know, where it's symmetrical map and you have your points and there's lanes, you know, so it's
they're trying to cash in on that League of Legends and
why not in 2020
Dota, all that.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's going to be I think the big part that people were upset is going to be a mobile game.
A mobile, that's right.
Yeah.
Anybody
that was like when they announced Diablo Immortal.
Don't you guys
Eternal?
Yeah, don't you guys have phones?
Boo.
I did too when that guy stood up and he goes, yeah, is this like a early April Fool's joke?
That guy's a legend. I love that.
I think there's after that Pokemon announcement, there's pictures floating around with that guy and they just Photoshop a Pokemon hat on him. Asking the same question.
I remember that one YouTuber got a lot of shit from it because he said, you guys are acting like a bunch of babies. And he still hasn't apologized for that to this day. Good for him.
Good for him.
I wouldn't have either.
Pokemon Unite. Yeah, so new mobile style Pokemon game. Yeah, I think overall the fan base is pretty disappointed. I could care less about that game, but Pokemon Snap. All right. That's really what I was excited about.
You're gonna pay a full $65 for that, aren't you?
I might, man. I might. Last of Us 2, maybe I'll wait on that. Pokemon Snap though.
I want to take some pictures.
I want to get right in the front. I'll go to midnight launch. I haven't done that in years, but I'll do it for Pokemon Snap.
It's 9 o'clock when you get it digital.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't have to stay on the line.
Pretty much we're coming down to the last couple of things here. One thing I wanted to throw in just because I thought it was kind of interesting and maybe people care about this. It was another case of an underdog story, but they're doing Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remastered. I don't know if anybody had played the GameCube version
No.
But that was like a thing. I think it was more of a deal at the time because of the way it worked with like the link cable and the Game Boy or something, and it was like the first Final Fantasy that was like co-op, 4 players and local and stuff. I don't know. It has a little bit of a cult following, so I thought it was very interesting that they would choose to remaster it. So I kind of just wanted to mention it and be like, that's cool. You know what? I don't know if that game holds up at all, but kudos for them for remastering it. I guess that's cool. You know.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, pretty much. Then they've made like some spin-offs after that, but I don't know. I mean, I think you were a fan or played it.
Yeah, I played through the whole first Crystal Chronicles with one of my buddies. Like that was most of my post high school. I think spent a lot of late nights with my brother and some other friends, with each of us with a Game Boy SP or Advance hooked up to the GameCube and playing with that. 4 of us, and it was interesting because you picked a class or whatever. Everybody picked a class, but one guy didn't really get to do much because you're walking in this world where there's deadly fog everywhere, and one of the players has to carry a chalice, and that chalice gives you like a orb of protection basically.
Yeah.
So everybody's kicking ass, and you're just going like this, holding a. Which
did you guys switch off who had to be the chalice carrier? Or
carrier?
It was like okay, who's Reinhardt today?
Yeah, basically. Like, but except we couldn't do any like. So if you got into combat, you could try to be cool and drop it on the ground and then fight. But then if an enemy's out there in the mist, or somebody's got to pick it up again and hold it, which that game is a nightmare if you want to play just 2 players because
somebody has to hold that. Somebody has to hold that when one person does the work, right?
They should just make an NPC computer like be the
that game was announced last year at E3 and was supposed to come out last year, but that's been delayed ever since. I think it was supposed to come out like early this year. No, last year. It was supposed to come out late last year after it got announced like this time last year at E3, and it was supposed to come out like November or October, and didn't. Delayed until I think we're gonna get a demo when the day the game comes out, which will let you play with somebody who has a copy of the game for free.
Okay.
Like only the first like 13 dungeons. So it's something. It's definitely more than enough to decide whether you want to.
You let them get a taste, and then from there they're hooked.
Yeah.
Which it's pretty cool, But I am definitely looking forward to playing that game again, and without all the shenanigans of little Game Boys and all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering about: is how much have they changed it? I mean, did they get in this remaster? Is someone going to have to do that still with the holding the chalice, or is that scrapped?
I've seen some of the gameplay. That chalice is still there.
That's what I was
just
wondering.
In case anyone was worried that they cut that part out.
Like it was definitely like a gameplay mechanic where it was like you had to be strategic, know when to drop the chalice. It's like you guys. This is a weird analogy, but you guys play Resident Evil 5.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a part where you're walking in a dark cave, and like you can pick up a lantern to see, but you can't do anything while you're holding the lantern. Right. So sometimes you'd have to put the lantern down, but make sure you put it in the right spot so you can see. Or your partner had to do all the killing for you while you just walked down with the lamp. Just think of that. Yeah, exactly. So kind of that idea is what you're dealing with there.
Gotcha. I forgot all about that. Yeah. So the remaster, I had no idea that it was delayed and all that. But I think I saw it because it was a trailer or something. So I think it's finally coming down to coming out.
Yeah.
They had.
They have like a. I was just gonna say I think there's an official like release date. I think next month.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Let's get in there.
I was a big Final Fantasy fanboy, but I never gave the Crystal Chronicles a chance. So, I mean, maybe this is my chance to play the remaster and
see what all the fuss I had also played this back in the day with a couple of friends, and I remember the same experience where I'm like, dude, I have to hold this damn thing. But it was cool because you were like, at the time, you were just like, 4-player co-op game was just cool in itself. Then the Final Fantasy tag on it, I think, was just something that drew people to it. I think ultimately a lot of people were probably disappointed in the game overall. That's why I'm like, it's cool that there's still this little fan base that they want to remaster it. But I had heard that the better version was actually one they put out on DS called Echoes afterwards, where I think you could play online and it didn't have like that mechanic. But that was another one I missed. I didn't play that, but good luck trying to find that now. And even beyond that, trying to play online. So, yeah. Anyway, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, you did it. Way to go.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end the show. Well, actually, one thing I thought on here, I don't know. I thought it was actually interesting. Before we get to the last two big games, was Mixer is shutting down. I don't know if anybody cares. I really don't myself, just because I don't stream and I don't really watch people streaming. But I thought it was worth mentioning because they made it such a big deal, and then to hear that just pretty shortly after this streaming service, Microsoft-owned streaming service, is going to shut down, is, I thought, kind of big news worth bringing up.
Yeah, no, especially after the whole big, that guy, what's his name, Ninja, leaving Twitch, making a big deal out of it.
There was a big, and Shroud, he was a big pull for Mixer,
which they're both getting paid out, by the way. So they're 10
million.
They
made stupid amounts of money on that. I don't even, like 10 million at least over.
It ultimately proved that like no person was bigger than the platform, because they were unable to bring those numbers from Twitch.
Yeah.
And then the kind of the sad thing is like everybody was told there was no warning given to that Mixer was shutting down. So a lot of streamers that left Twitch to start their thing on Mixer, they got their banners set up, their logos on their screen with Mixer tags and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're all scrambling because like the Mixer's being folded into Facebook Gaming, which
also is very small. And
what is that? Like, it's not even a thing. So
I kind of feel like that's the story of Mixer, though, right? Like, there's just too much streaming. I mean, you can stream on YouTube, you can stream on Twitch, and those are already huge giants in that space. So for Mixer to try to come in, I wasn't really surprised to hear that it got shot down, honestly. I mean, I was like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But at the same time, I was like, there's too much out there. I mean, I feel like it's too spread thin with at that point.
Yeah, Mixer saw like a lucrative opportunity. They wanted a piece of the pie, but there was already like streamers were really established. It's hard to like, because I mean you have a fan base if you're a big streamer, and to like up and just move to another platform, there's not going to be a lot of like people that are going to follow you. There's going to be some.
But I feel like on the other end of it too, when you're someone trying to watch a streamer, it's like, what, now there's another new service I have to like go like log into or follow. It's like, dude, like Twitch and YouTube is fine. Like, just leave it at that. Like, I don't really need a whole another third and fourth thing thrown in the mix, There's already enough people streaming anyway, like, then I'm gonna have to find what platform is that person on. It's I don't know.
I just want to know what platform Ruben's gonna be on.
Yeah, what do you think about all this, Ruben? With the
face of this,
stream a bit. What do you stream on right now? You pretty much do is it YouTube?
Yeah, I do YouTube. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier than Twitch. But I don't have any equipment. I just use my PlayStation. I don't have like a $2,000-$3,000 PC like most of these streamers do.
Right. And that's the thing too, with like this is like going back to YouTube and Twitch. They're so easy to do now. People know the name. There's a lot of people on those platforms.
Yeah.
And a lot of these services you can stream from your system to one of those. To throw another one in the mix and try to make it a big thing, it's like it's too much, man. It doesn't maybe work for, if I'm a streamer, maybe it doesn't work with what I got going on. Or maybe my fan base is somewhere else. Now you want me to like try to get them over here? Like, it's probably not going to happen. And then on the consumer's end, it's like, well, I've never even heard of Mixer. Now I have to download Mixer, or now I have to go to Mixer. I have to register for Mixer.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what the fuck Mixer was until like a couple days ago. I heard it was shutting down.
Yeah,
damn.
The first news you hear of it is them shutting down. It's like, oh yeah, that sounded successful.
Like, what the fuck is internet? What the fuck is Mixer? I was like Jay and Silent Bob, but they're like, what the fuck is the internet?
Anyway, hey, well, it's gone. So there you go, Ruben.
I mean, the crazy thing is, it's a Microsoft thing, right? So like, you'd think Microsoft has a lot of weight behind their name, so you'd think they'd be pretty successful about it, but then they're like, nope, shutting it down.
I mean, I think even think of the money doesn't mean everything on it, right?
Yeah. Even think of the Xbox, like the current Xbox there's like a buttons on the dashboard for like Mixer or whatever. Like, what's the new one gonna have? Is it gonna have a Facebook gaming button?
They're gonna have to like etch that out or something like that when they're coming out with it. It's like, ignore that Mixer button.
They're gonna have like a Facebook gaming button, which I think that would be atrocious.
Yeah,
it's a deal breaker for me.
I think you can upload stuff to Facebook through PS4 right now, right? I think hasn't that been around for a while? Like, you can share.
That's been around for a long time.
I don't think it's not the same as streaming, but I mean,
it's just a post. You can make a post.
But
same with Twitter.
Anyway,
I think they took the Twitter one away, or did they take the Facebook one away for PS4?
Yeah, they took away Facebook. Yeah. I used to have an account link, but they took that away.
Yeah.
Fucking Zuckerberg.
Goodbye, Mr. All right. Well, a couple other big games before we wrap it up to talk about. I don't know if anybody here is a fan of Avengers or Marvel, but I think a couple of days ago they showed a pretty lengthy. I think it was like a Q&A. It was like a mix. It was almost like a show in itself where they just had like a little half-hour thing or something on Avengers, and they showed gameplay. They had people talk about it. They had developers come in, Q&A and stuff, but it looked cool. I'm not sure if anybody else has seen this. They showed off some of the different modes. There's a campaign to it, which I think you can do 2 players at least, and then there's also like a Warzone mode, which is I think 4-player co-op, and it's different from the campaign, and they showed off, some of the people that are in it now. They did say there was going to be more characters, but you got like the OG crew, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk is in there. Anybody else see this gameplay that they showed off from? I think it's Crystal Dynamics developer, Tomb Raider fan.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see any gameplay on that one.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm kind of into it. It looks kind of generic, but anything that kind of reminds me of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I'm on board.
Yeah, that was a good game for you.
Oh, it was one of my all-time favorites. I'm still trying to get through the third one on the Switch, but this game, it looks good. I'm not a big fan of the character design, but and also I think I'm more worried about the fact that it's like a live game. So it's gonna be adding characters, and you're gonna be paying for this and that like constantly.
You're right.
So I'm kind of worried about how that's actually gonna play out. And then the only really good thing I'll say is that seeing like Miss Marvel out there, Kamala, she's really awesome. So seeing her like front page right there with the Avengers is kind of badass.
Yeah,
I want more people to see her.
Nice.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think of Ultimate Alliance as well when I was seeing this. It has kind of those same ideas of it looks like you have a skill tree where you're unlocking powers, and then you have different gear. So there's different levels of gear. It's kind of got that kind of modern day systems to it where you get gear and you attach them, and I'm sure your guy gets.
So it has like some like action RPG elements to it. In a way.
So yeah, it seems like it's got. Besides gear, it's just like gears, and there's like unlocking abilities. So there's like a skill tree and gear. So I think between those two, that's like your RPG stuff.
Yeah.
But then it seems like the base game is still, I think like Rodrigo was saying about Ultimate Alliance, it's a group of like 3 or 4 people kind of just fighting enemies and using your powers. And it's just kind of this mashup of all that action going on, which was fun about the Ultimate Alliance games. I mean, not to segue, but like part 3 didn't really look that great to me. I think part 1 and 2 still hold up and were pretty cool, but I was really excited when I heard they were doing a part 3, and then I was really bummed when I saw the gameplay, and I was like, no,
just wasn't it wasn't that good.
It got rid of all the physics and everything to it and all that cool stuff, and just like this looked like a watered down version of like what I liked about 1 and 2.
I will say it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it with the wife, and the game's awesome. It's definitely different gameplay wise. They changed the way the combat works a little bit, and it's not as good as it was before. Yeah. You don't really have like the other one kind of had a little bit of a combo system, well, this one kind of doesn't. So definitely a lot more simpler. But as far as the fights go, and the big battles that you're doing, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, still a good like co-op game, I imagine too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely also one of those games that we were talking about where like it's casual. Someone could pick it up and you don't need to be.
There's a big focus on combining powers in the third game. Like that cool. kind of what they introduced in the second game. How you can like they had double team supers.
Powers,
yeah. This thing was like in this game you can basically just combine every move together and everything. There's a combination of moves for everybody.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's ridiculous.
But this new Avengers game from Crystal Dynamics does look pretty solid, though. I mean, so yeah, it does have the skill tree, it does have the gear, so those RPG elements. The action looks pretty solid. We saw a lot of Thor in action from this gameplay footage they showed, mainly. Who looked cool, has all of his iconic moves. He's even got some extras too, which were pretty cool. Like at some point, he can call down like the Bifrost, like to come down in a hidden enemy. I think it's like the equivalent to like an ultimate type of move, something like that. But it seems pretty cool. It does also seem like you're going to be able to change your character and the moves, so you can play it the way you want. So there's some variety there, and my Hulk might be different than your Hulk, and how we play. So that seems cool. It's got what seems to be like some linear style levels to it, but also I've seen some more open-ended levels. So that seems cool to me. I like the idea that as a crew you can kind of like, go roll over the area, and one guy's flying over buildings while the other guy's like running through, the streets, and it's a little bit open in that sense. That seems cool. I don't really know much of what's going on in the story. I think that Rodrigo, there's a villain. I can't remember. He's kind of the.
Yeah, I mean, when the game was first announced, like last year, they had that big story trailer, which I don't remember who the villain was, but it was just like the Avengers all got their butts kicked or something like that, or Captain America blew up or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
exploded.
We're all gonna have to band together to beat this big baddie.
Pretty much.
At the newest gameplay footage, this whole half-hour thing, they didn't show anything of Captain America. People were like, "Is he dead?" And they're like, "No, he's not dead." But I guess they're probably trying to keep some spoiler-free stuff out of there. I don't know, but it seems okay. I can't remember the overall story, but I'm hoping it's going to be interesting overall. I have hopes for this game. I'm a Marvel fan in general. I'm also a fan of the style of like co-op, get-together action games. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope they don't blow it. I think it's also coming closer to release too, so probably don't have to wait too much longer. I'm also kind of a fan of that studios. I wasn't really too much of a fan of the last Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, even though I had owned it, but I did like the first two games that they put out. I liked the second one actually kind of a lot, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And then before that, though, Crystal Dynamics has a history with some other games that used to be part of like IDOS and stuff, that publisher. I think they had some involvement with like Deus Ex and Hitman maybe back in the day. But so I'm looking forward to it. Let's see if they fuck it up or not. I think the last game here, which is kind of like a big one for everybody right now, especially because I think just a day or two ago they showed a lengthy conference or show of Cyberpunk 2077. So just the other day they had showed this game off. A lot of impressions and previews are coming out from sites because it sounds like a lot of people are getting a good 4 or 5, around their hour, like hands-on with it, and they're giving their impressions. Everyone so far is coming away from it loving it.
That's
and
good.
has a lot to say about it. So I kind of watched some of that. It does seem pretty cool. I had already seen a bit of it and was looking forward to it. But did anybody see all this new stuff they just come out with the other day? It showed a lot more of the opening of the game, I think, and what you can do in it.
What was you guys' impression?
The game looks great. That gameplay stuff they showed looked really neat. The only thing was like that I'm kind of worried about now is seeing more of the story stuff. A lot of that writing and voice acting seem really hokey. I think anytime I hear a video game character say the word hella, it's always a bad time. But yeah, I think this is like the first stream that they're gonna, because the game got pushed back to November. So now they're gonna do these live streams like maybe I think once a month or something like that, just showing off more into the game release. But I am still very excited. I have great trust in the CD Projekt Red and of the Witcher 3 fame and all that. So
Yeah.
I hope they don't let me down.
I thought that seeing more of the footage just this other day, I was more excited for it. I already thought it looked kind of cool, and I like that setting and everything, but I was also cautious to not see too much of it because I didn't want it to be spoiled for me, or I didn't want my excitement to get watered down by just seeing too much of it. And I kind of had to stop myself this other day because they had kind of an overload of footage that they put out between the developer and then just listening and reading people's hands-on impressions. I had to stop myself. So I was like, I don't really want to get too much of this spoiled for me. And I felt like I was getting to that point. But it does look cool. It does seem like there's a lot of systems at play. It also seems pretty interesting the way that I didn't really know there was going to be kind of like an outland, like they call it the Badlands area around the city. So there's kind of an open world element to the area surrounding it, which you can go explore, and you have your car and stuff which you can get into and
The world's supposed to be pretty huge, right?
It seems pretty big. Yeah, it seems a lot more like filled with activities than I thought it would be, just from hearing and seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it also seems pretty interesting that I guess when you start this game, you're going to be able to choose from, I think, 3 or 4 different like stories to start. I think they all end up going to the same place where you meet your friend. I think his name is like Jason or something in the game, or something with a J. I can't remember. But you can start the game as a different class, like a corporate type person, or like somebody who, when the game starts, he is in the Badlands outside of the city, and you have a different backstory. And then maybe an hour into the game, you meet up with the guy that everybody would eventually meet up. So that's pretty cool that there's those different styles. It seems like they're bringing all that stuff from The Witcher to where you had these branching paths, and they're bringing that in and they're expanding on it. Because I think a lot of people gave that game crap for not being diverse enough in the story choices or something. I had heard people not liking that, but it seems cool. It seems interesting. Yeah, I like that setting in that world, and it seems pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of potential, and it's getting like super hype. So I hope it doesn't like fall on its face.
Yeah,
and I hope it lives up to all the hype that it gets. Because I mean, I'm definitely gonna get it.
It's definitely getting.
It's already sold me.
Then I feel like it's getting typed up so much at this point. I feel like a lot of people, it's probably their game they're looking forward to the most. You know.
Yeah.
We get Ghost of Tsushima next month, so.
That's right.
Is that going to be the last PS4 exclusive, right? Or the second to last? I heard.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is the last one.
Wow, it's sad the horizon is or the sun setting on the PS4 days. You know, it's coming to the end of its life.
It's been long enough. I think this cycle has been longer than the last one. PS3 cycle was like maybe 8 years. This has gone on longer or something like that.
It had a good run.
They get longer and longer. You know, they used to be definitely a couple years going from PlayStation, PS2, you know, even before that, like Super to, you know, all that. But now these cycles are getting like a year longer, I feel.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with the like the capabilities the PS4 has been able to churn out. Like the last like couple games, like Final Fantasy VII Remake had amazing looking graphics. I know Last of Us 2, definitely people were definitely saying like that's like beautiful game, like the way it looks and everything like that. So the world's, you know, it's fun to explore. So that's cool. It's great to see them harnessing all the technology, and I can't wait to see what kind of stuff they're going to do with PS5.
Yeah. You know what I like about the PS4 too?
What's that?
When I want to stream, all I do is press one fucking button.
Exactly.
That's it. The Xbox, it took me 15 fucking minutes to get that thing going. Nope. PlayStation, just press share, we're good to go.
Preach.
Yeah. I gotta agree with that. You don't want to have to jump through hoops and hurdles and all that stuff to just stream.
No. I can actually demonstrate. I can go get the PlayStation controller and show you what button to press. That's all. You're done. You're done. Yeah. You're on YouTube live now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. Like, yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
I just got.
Did you want to hit on anything about 77 or
about what?
Cyberpunk before?
Yeah. What's your opinion on Cyberpunk?
I'll spend $65 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll buy it.
I think it'll give you $65 worth of game. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers that it doesn't suck, but so far,
it looks promising for sure. I'm ready to kind of let myself get lost in that world and just kill, my downtime.
It suffered a few release delays, right? So hopefully now you said November earlier. Was that what you were saying? Is the slated release time
now? Which is right alongside the rumor launch date for the new console. So
that's weird. So it looks like we have a lot to look forward to at the end of the year.
Yeah, but that game definitely shaping up to be a good hit for sure.
Yeah. I also heard they were going to do like an anime for the Cyberpunk 2077. I think Netflix is going to do it. Maybe
is Keanu Reeves going to be in it?
That's to be determined. I don't know, but I wouldn't say no if he was in that. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about? Actually, I forgot to mention Ghost of Tsushima because that was actually they did show a good amount of footage on that during that PS5 show or something recently, right? They showed a lot.
It was before that. I think they had like just a
It was like a fight scene, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he like go down to a village in a horse and then they had a fight scene or something like that?
Yeah, they kind of showed you.
It was a badass video.
They showed you like 2 ways you can approach combat as the samurai or as a ghost.
But, you know. That's kind of what I'm gonna like about that too. How I think I'm gonna like it because it really reminds me, and I liked the game too. It was Tenchu.
I was just about to say. I was gonna say this game reminds me of Tenchu. It's just like it's kind of like it's got that Asian like Assassin's Creed vibe to it, like feudal Japan. Yeah, but it's gonna be sick. Reminds me of Tenchu.
Yeah, I did think of Assassin's too when I was watching that footage.
For me, it was more like this old samurai cinema because they even announced in that trailer that they were gonna have a black and white mode. So
that was
straight up old school
pretty
movie.
Cool, actually. Like Kurosawa film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the game looks alright. In that studio I like, which is Sucker Punch, I believe they're the guys who made Infamous, and I wasn't really a big fan of like the first one or even the second.
I didn't really like Infamous too much either.
See, I did play.
I played it,
which was good. The last one they did, which was a PS4 game, like early on, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That one
Infamous sucks so much people don't even remember that they put him in Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
I remember. I remember. My homie Cole.
Wow, I just forgot about that. That's crazy.
That game, yeah.
Yeah.
What could have been?
What could have been, yeah. I mean, I think that was pretty much everything we had. The only thing I had on my list that I didn't mention, I guess we could bring up, is Mafia. I don't know if anybody's a fan of that series.
I never played it. No.
They're like re-releasing 2 and 3 like as definitive like remastered, like upscaled versions, but then they're completely remaking the first one, which is what I want to mention because I didn't play it back in the day, but it's getting a complete graphical and gameplay overhaul on this first game, so maybe it's worth picking up. From what I've seen, it looks interesting. I've always kind of heard mixed reviews about those games though, but I feel like there's something there, so maybe that's worth checking out when that's coming out. I think later, I don't know if it's this year, end of this year, it might be coming out, but yeah, Mafia remake of original. I think
I watched a stream of someone play the remake, like maybe like a month ago, and it looked pretty fun.
A remake because the first one's not out yet.
Or not. What was it? Mafia 2?
I don't remember. Definitive editions, yeah.
So that's what it was. It was the one.
Out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was that one.
You can get it in a collection, I think, that'll include the remake whenever that's ready. But
yeah, I thought the gameplay looked pretty fun.
I think it's always one of those games where it's like it's good, it always kind of gets like 7s, 8s. It's like nothing amazing, but it's all right.
It's worth $45.
Yeah, so I didn't know that Mafia needed a remake, but so I guess cool, for people who played it, I guess. But I mean, that was pretty much everything that was going on with games this last like month or so, right? I feel like we kind of hit on all that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if anybody else has anything else to bring up.
Not anything off the top of my head.
I had almost thought about asking if you wanted to do a back of the box trivia because it's been quite a while since we've done that.
If you got some in hand, I'm down.
I've never done it before, but I'd be willing to try.
Well, I don't have anything ready unless, I mean, we could end it and save it for another episode unless you guys want to take a break and we can come back and do maybe like a round.
I think we've been running a good while now already.
Yeah, we did have a good talk here about some cool stuff coming out, but we'll just consider that a tease then, folks. For next episode, we're bringing back of the box trivia. Heard it here,
and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, edit, insert crowd cheer effect.
Cool.
Thanks guys for being on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure to be a guest. I feel honored.
Yeah, your first time on the show, man. You're great, I guess.
Usually I'm really drunk at this point, so you saw the sober me, man. So usually I'm fucking hammered.
Next time we get together, we'll do the drunk podcast then.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. That'll be good.
We'll let the wheels come off.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, Brett, Rodrigo, Ruben, thanks for being on again. It was a
Thanks
pleasure.
for having me. It was good to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. We'll be doing another episode, I'm sure.
Yeah, we should all four get together and play some fucking Battletoads and stream that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if there's
you don't have to ask me twice.
Stream some games.
No jet ski levels.
And put it up on YouTube. That'd be cool. But, I'll have to figure that out. How technically that would work, but
I think we're gonna have to get what's that shit called? Where you an emulator because it was never released on the arcade version was never released on platform.
Right.
Yeah, we can go to some CD site and download a ROM. Yeah. Some back alley ROM.
Yeah. Because remember how Alien vs Predators was a badass beat 'em up game, but it was never released on platform.
Yeah, it was an arcade only, right? So
yeah, Battletoads was too, the violent one at least.
Yeah, I'm with Rod though. Screw the jet ski levels and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think jet ski level in the arcade. They said fuck that.
They were tough.
Quarter eater.
They were tough. Yeah, we had a good amount of stuff to talk about, so I felt like it was a good time to get everyone together to hit on some of this stuff. But yeah, maybe next time we got a good batch of things to bring up again. We'll do another episode, maybe a month out or so. If you guys are down for it, I'll let you know.
Yeah. I guess Brett enough time to get Battletoads on CD, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe next time too, maybe we'll try to get a comment or do some Q&A or reader type stuff. I can maybe try to put the feelers out there, but maybe back the box trivia, that and some other stuff just to round it out. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys being on. Thanks again, everybody who listened or watched this episode of the show. If you're not already following or liking us, we'd appreciate your support on that. So check it out. Go back and you can listen to it on Spotify too, which is kind of cool. We're doing a video version if you're watching this, but yeah, it should be on iTunes and Spotify, SoundCloud if you want to.
All right,
gentlemen.
10-4.
Let's catch you guys later.
All right,
my man.
Peace.